I'm Ben Drury, the Culture Guy. Welcome to the first video in our series on the truths about culture. Peter Drucker once said that culture eats strategy for breakfast, but what exactly is culture? Well, let me explain with an example. Imagine one day you bump into an old school friend, someone you haven't seen for a few years since you left school, which I admit is quite a few years for some of us. He's just moved back into town, doesn't know many people, and from what you recall, he always seemed quite a sensible friend at school. So you invite him round for dinner the next evening, you catch up, you're going to help him out, perhaps rekindle a friendship. And as the next evening rolls around, you prepare to welcome your guest. You tidy the house, you set the table, you cook a wonderful, delicious meal. You're just about ready yourself for some rich food, excellent wine, and some erudite conversation. And then your guest arrives. Pleasantries are exchanged, you introduce him to your partner, and you all sit down and start enjoying your evening. Then things get weird. Not good weird, uncomfortable weird. Your guest doesn't wait to be offered food or to be served. Instead, he just grabs food and starts filling his plate fast and high. More than half the food is gone before you even have a chance to pull your chair in. When was the last time he ate? And come to think of it, when was the last time he had human contact? Once satisfied he's got enough food in front of him, he starts to shovel it in like a starved animal, barely breathing and only occasionally using his fork. The knife is never touched, seemingly unaware that other people are involved in this social occasion. But apparently he's in technology, although you hardly get a chance to ask him much, as he doesn't stop talking for the whole 2 hours, save to swallow the food that he hasn't already spat on the table. Now, it's not just the constant talking, it's the language he uses. You start to feel a little nauseous with the quality and the volume of swearing that's being uttered. Words that have never been spoken in your house before. Some you've never even heard before. The table manners, the language, the rudeness, the lack of common courtesy, the lack of social awareness. Who is this person? So how are you feeling right now listening to this story? Does it make you feel tense, annoyed, frustrated? Would you be feeling that if it was actually happening in your home? I find it quite uncomfortable. I know that the thought makes me feel quite anxious. I would want it to be over as quickly as possible, but I wouldn't know how to really deal with the situation if it happened. Should I be polite, finish dinner quickly, feign tiredness, usher him out of the house, remembering never to invite him again? Or should I perhaps challenge him on the behaviour? What's the best and quickest way to end this nightmare? Ask him to behave more appropriately? And that is exactly what culture is, that little word, appropriately. The unwritten rules and values that you consider normal, the standard of behaviour that you would reasonably expect others to follow. Now, in my home and my family, we've created a culture. It may not be explicitly defined, but it's there. The standards of behaviour, the expectation of how we speak and shouldn't speak to each other, the etiquette of politeness. And when these standards and expectations are violated, when someone cuts across my cultural expectations, it makes me extremely uncomfortable, which is what happens when our hypothetical visitor comes to dinner. My culture has been disrupted and violated, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Culture is nothing more than a basic set of assumptions and values and orientations to life, beliefs and behavioural conventions that are shared by a group of people. And they influence each member's behaviour and his or her interpretation of everybody else's behaviour. Culture is just a derived word that comes from Latin cultura, which essentially means to care for or to grow. A culture is nothing more than an environment where things grow. What grows depends on the specific culture, but something will grow. The idea I want to talk about in the next few videos is the concept that culture simply exists, and it's the product of shared values, behaviours, thoughts of a group of people. Any place where two or more people gather for a purpose, a culture will exist. Whether it's two people in a relationship, a few children in a group of friends at school, swathes of employees in a national corporation, when groups join up to achieve something, a shared set of values and beliefs arise. Either explicitly defined or unwritten, there will be rules and expectations of how to behave. Organically grown or deliberately cultivated, it will happen, and it will affect every part of your organisation. It affects everything, and If it affects everything, then why do people spend so little time on it? Danny Meyer, one of the most successful restaurateurs in New York, one of the most successful teams in possibly the toughest business market in the world, which is New York City restaurants, says you've got priorities. Whether you name them or not, you have priorities. And if you want success, you need to name them and the behaviors that support those priorities. Defining and delivering the right culture for your business can take weeks and months, possibly even years, especially if you have a culture that is ingrained in a big organization that needs to change. But we've developed a framework called the One Framework to help you get it right. And we're going to cover that over the next few videos. But leave a comment and let us know how we can help you. Thanks for watching, and look out for the next video on Culture Truth number 1.